Hi everyone, MJ here, and I am outside in the park on this post-typhoon Sunday evening. I want to say hi to everyone on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Twitter Live, aka Periscope. I'm at the park in my neighborhood. I'm out here in the dark. And yes, Anti, how are you? Yeah, it's working. Well, I'm not in the studio. I'm in the field because I just wanted to get outside. We've been kind of cramped up, a little bit of cabin fever. Although I did get quite a bit of studio work done, recording work done. I snuck out and got my hair cut the other day. Oh, look at that. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, got a little widow's peak here. Or not, it looks like a, yeah, whatever. It is humid. It's about, well, I have to keep, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, you're too kind. I keep the AC running on the studio, in the studio, the top floor of my home. I keep it running all the time, and when I'm not in it, I keep the door open because it keeps the top floor from overheating. That most of the heat in the house goes up, the stairway to the top floor, and as long as I can sort of take that, I got a really super large unit, so I could do that. And but the humidity's been brutal, man. It's been like between hey double JS, how you doing, man? Fist bump to you too. Gosh, it's been as high as like 78%, and it's been between 70 and 80%. This is Suntory whiskey, by the way. I started this bottle yesterday, so I just had a little bit left. So I'm just enjoying it with a little ice outside. The cool part about it is we have a lot of wind, but where I am in the park, I'm kind of shielded, so it shouldn't really affect the audio too bad. But I'm doing good. How you doing? Fist bump to you. And I have my Osmo rig, so I got my gimbal, so it's nice and smooth. I also have my light rig on it too. If I wanted to walk around, I could turn my light on. But right now, I don't have to turn the light on in the park so much, I'm using the DJI OM4, which is a gimbal that was recommended to me by Dave in Osaka. And I'm sitting out here enjoying myself. Now Taiwan has, as you know, probably, at least if you watch my channel, you know that Taiwan has been battling a local outbreak of COVID-19 ever since May. And, for us, it's a big deal because our government has been really good at being able to keep things from escalating badly. And at the peak of this outbreak, we had at one time around 700 cases. But today, they're 12. So we're back down. It's been less than 100 a day. Yes it has. It's been less than 100 a day. And Anti, if you've been keeping track, right, then things are like so much better. In fact, we're going to go on to a modified level 2. We're still going to have social distancing. We're still going to have to do contact tracing, which I don't mind. Contact tracing is a good thing. Every night my phone sends a message to my watch, and it says contact tracing, no contact, which is nice. It's nice to know that the places that I've been, that I have, checked in, that nobody has nobody is known to have COVID-19. No, I haven't. Ken Rod, fist bump to you. I have not heard any news in Nature magazine. I got to tell you, man, if it's COVID-19 news, I am just like, I don't know. I'm just burned out. It's okay. No, it's all right. right now there's a problem with there's a problem with YouTube and a little bit. It's a little bit. We're outside here. It's up and down. It's up and down. It shouldn't be that bad because where I'm sitting next to a tree, and the tree's barely moving. I'm overloaded, man, with bad news and stuff, and you know, it's just propaganda about everything. I just don't even want to talk about it anymore. Are you guys like that? Are you like getting overloaded and having, you know, people from the government try to tell you what you should be doing and all this stuff, and not respecting personal freedoms and things? Yeah, it's crazy. So YouTube has a problem with latency right now. Now the other thing too is, quite frankly, now I can take my mask off as long as I'm drinking something here, and there's nobody around here. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is, but I know everybody's got their knickers in an uproar. Got their knickers in a knot about the Delta variant. Well, I don't want to get my YouTube channel banned, but I saw a video the other day by an Indian doctor who very clearly explained that there are 3 types of antibodies. One antibody, the first one, develops the first time it encounters some kind of pathogen. And it can take up to 30 days for it to develop. It certainly takes longer than a few days. And then the other 2 remaining antibodies are produced very quickly, 3, 4 to 5 days, something like that, because they know what the antigen is. They've seen it before. So basically it's just a memory recall. And he cited several new studies, and he said what they were, and you know, what country they're from. And he said in every single case, all the antibodies that were produced by people who got vaccination, which is, you know, the point, right? You get vaccinated, you're supposed to generate antibodies to protect you. In every single case, he said it was the other 2, and not the first one, which means that everybody that they looked at in the whole study has been exposed to before. So people have been saying that for a long time about Taiwan and the Pacific Rim and certain areas in this part of the world, that there's some kind of a natural immunity in some respects. And I know that, you know, every year we got bird flu from China, the regular flu, and some kind of coronaviruses, but not like this. So anyway, just heard a noise, just wonder what that was. Sometimes dogs come through here at night. A couple dogs, although I haven't seen them, they've been pretty good. What keeps cutting off? I don't know what's cutting off, unless the Prism multi-streaming server has an issue. That might be happening. Well, then it means it's coming from the multi-streaming server. You know what I mean? If it's identical on Twitter Live, you know, Periscope, and on YouTube, they're getting the feed from Prism's multi-streaming servers now. I gotta tell you, you know, Prism is free. Is okay. That's good. Thanks. Prism is free, man, and you know, no matter what, it's a great service. And sometimes they do have problems. I remember because we have access to Jake, the lead developer, so sometimes we'll be in the in the room talking with him, and we'll talk about how maybe there's some kind of problem with the server or something like that, but not very often, almost never. Usually very, very reliable service. And somebody was walking by, so I just put my mask on. And I'm really happy that I found out about Prism Live Studio, because that was something that Nick Nimmin, he's got one of the bigger YouTube channels, and he's all about, you know, how to be a better influencer and stuff, which I'm not. I just like to do what I do. But now we just had this hurricane, or as we say in here in Asia, it's a typhoon. Well, actually, you know, though, there are some right over there. There's a dorm, Filipino workers, and it's, I believe that's a female-only dorm. And I see some of the workers sitting over there, sometimes in the afternoon, just chatting away. 3, 4, 5 people at a table. No masks on. They're not supposed to be doing that. Anyway, we just had this typhoon. It's called Infa. And when I had my last live stream, that ill-fated one with all the audio problems, I'm still apologizing for. You know, I had the behind me windy.com, and I was showing the typhoon what it looked like. And I said that I would have, you know, if I had anything to report, that I would just go outside and record it. They obviously, that's exactly right. They think they're not going to get caught. So I went over here with Phoenix, and I don't want to be a Karen. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. You've seen Karens all over the internet, right? I don't want to be a Karen. But I did walk by and look at them. I have to be careful. But I will say this. I will say, yeah, I know. I feel bad, because I've known a lot of really nice ladies named Karen. The men from these other dorms, they just urinate on the street. And that, I will say something to them, and they know better than to talk back to me, because I've lived in this neighborhood for a long time, and everybody knows who I am. And I tell them, I go, look, guys, you know, you're peeing on the street. You know, I live here, man. I tell them, I said, this isn't Manila. And right over there is the convenience store. It's got a restroom. What's wrong with you? You know? And, oh, sorry, sir. It's like, well, I gotta tell you guys every time I walk by. The place, it stinks. It smells like pee. Yeah. I just do say it like that, because I think it's just low rent. Sometimes though, I've said to Taiwanese guys I would prefer not to have them pee, you know, in the street. Sometimes they get a little confrontational. They don't know what to make of me. They don't know how to. They don't know what I'm going to do. So I don't get violent with people. I just don't do it. I mean, I yell at some people. Jacob, J-boy, fist bump to you. How you doing? But yeah. Oh, I just got a notification. Taiwanese father and son swept out to sea in Kaohsiung. I gotta look that up while there's something like a bug on my neck. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, there's so many CCTV cameras around, you're right. Even at my house I got one on the outside, but just make sure that whatever you do, you're in the right. I have a body cam too. I don't use it very often, but I do actually have you know, it clips on, and it even has night mode. It has motion detect mode too. So if I wanted to say like leave it somewhere, like on my bike, of course, if somebody stole my bike, they would steal that too. But sometimes people might like rifle through my bag or something, right? And although I've never had anybody do it here, so. Oh, nasal surgery. Oh man, I want to ask you. First of all, being in the hospital in the pandemic, that's, wow, yeah. Did you have work done on the inferior turbinates? Because I'm considering doing that. I should have done it 20 years ago. I'm glad to hear that you're recuperating, man. Wow, bro, that's got to be bad. I mean, being in a hospital during pandemic and stuff, I just wouldn't want to do that. Another problem that we're experiencing, not only here, but all around the world, is a lot of times the hospitals are a place where people get their vaccines, and that's where they have the greatest exposure, you know, to the virus. So, okay. Well, sometimes I tell my wife, I wish I could remove my nose and work on it from the inside and clean it out and scrape it clean and trim all the hairs and put it back on, that kind of stuff, you know. But I've been, boy, we sure go around in circles. We have these discussions. I've had like post-nasal drip and those problems. You hear me sometimes, I'm clearing my throat, I'm going, ugh. It's just all, all related to that. But we had this typhoon, it blew through here, didn't do much. It took a hook to the right because it was coming in from the east. It was headed west. It took a right turn, which means it went further north, and it actually got farther away from Taiwan. So tonight is clear. It's a very clear night. Well, good for you, J-boy. I mean, seriously, man. I'm glad, you know. It sucked, I'm sure, but it must be a relief, you know, to have it done. It's one of those things that I know exactly what you mean. You've been putting it off and nagging, you know, it's in the back of your mind. I should have done it, so. Yeah, so here's to a speedy recovery, man. You know, on the next live stream, man, just, you know, give us an update, all right? Yeah. I'm down here in, you know, in Hukou, in Hsinchu, and it wasn't even raining today. It was hot. The exhaust fans that I installed in my foyer came on at the preset temperature today. I set it to come on at 34. Got over 40. But this may sound really weird, but Excellent. I've got a good ENT doctor too. Takes care of my ears. He sucks the earwax out. That sounds funny, but yeah. Yep. It's the season. That's the first typhoon we've had in 2 years, and thankfully it did add a lot of water to the reservoirs. It didn't really do any damage. That's the main thing. But now this may sound funny, but you guys know I'm a big fan of the moon, and I love the full moon. I love a couple of days either side of the full moon, you know, waxing and waning. Now tonight is the last night of the full moon. It's right up there. So I'll take some pictures of it. From the roof of my house, this is what it looks like tonight. And that is a star and a lens flare down the bottom. Actually, the star, I think, well, there's a little bit of a wisp of clouds. I think that star, I'm relatively certain, is Saturn. But I didn't really check. This is just based on my normal knowledge. I took another shot, exposed it a little differently. You know, because that's more of what it looks like. Because you know the camera will make things brighter. That's more what it looks like. That monster across the street from my house. I took one more shot and I kind of blew it up. This is funny because you look at this. There's some kind of like, I don't know if it's a lens flare or what, but it looks like there's a kite over there. And I can do this too. I can move this a little bit so it's out of the way from the. Look at that. That looks like a kite. It's hilarious. But it's not, and I don't know what it is. I don't remember seeing it. You know something? You're so right. That's a good way to put it. When you're ill, you know, housebound in a hospital room, and you look out the window and you see something like that beautiful moon, man, that's a luxury, isn't it? Leave it on there for a minute. I just love the moon. The queen of the night. And I used to like to read stories, particularly, well, I've always liked 19th century detective mystery stories like John Thorndike, you know, by the author Freeman, and some others, that where the moon features prominently in the story. I've always liked that. You know, like where the detective, you know, was out in the moonlight doing his or her detective thing, and always cool. I've always liked the descriptions, like the queen of the night. I think it's so cool, because obviously the moon is the queen, but the sun is the king, right? The king of the day and the queen of the night. Well, Jay Boy, you know, you mentioned it, but I'm going to put you on the spot, but do you suffer from anxiety problems? If the answer is yes, you're perfectly normal. This is, you know, the 21st century, and it's not easy. Yeah. Let me just do this. Okay, well that's good. Let's go. Oh, I got some from my ice. I bought some ice, a bag of ice, and of course my gimbal is off the table because it's on a tripod. But some of the water from the bag of ice is dripping down. Let's do this. I have one of those plastic frames that goes inside the mask to keep it from getting crushed. Let's do this. Come with me for a second, please. I got to put my finger over here, which is bad. I've talked to Prism. Switch so close. This is the park. And there she is. With the camera you can see clouds that aren't there. I mean with the naked eye. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, well that makes perfect sense, J-Boy. You had to make the call, man. It's affecting your sleep, and that's, you know, that really did it. So there you go. Queen of the night. I usually sit over there when I'm at the park, but tonight I'm sitting over here. I'm sitting in the dark, see? So, what it looks like. I do not have my auxiliary light on. I just yeah. There you go. Well, you know, I suffer from anxiety. It really is. It is now, and during the day it's not bad. You know, there's a couple kids over there playing, but they're, you know, they're pretty well behaved. There's a slant to this. Let me just show this again to not be this way. Okay, I'm gonna turn it this way. Can you guys see how that's slanted? Kind of runs off this way. It's good for water and stuff. But when I'm playing ball out here with Phoenix, and she'll throw a ball or, like, you know, just or kick it or something, and I miss it, it invariably just goes in the far corner or over here in the bushes. So but yeah, and right now the little playground area is all closed off, and there's a section over there where they have, you know, seats and a table, and it's all, they got police tape on it and stuff because they don't want people over there. Now this has signs that say no barbecue, and the reason they say no barbecue is because people traditionally just leave their trash out here, which is one thing that's kind of bad. That's one area where Asia really lacks, you know, they really lag the West in those kind of values. So I was here one day, gosh, this is about 7 or 8 years ago, and there's like a village master. There really is, in all these places. And in my neighborhood there's a village master too, and I know him. He's a very nice man. And any kind of problems I have, I can, you know, ask him. Can you look into this or something or whatever? And in this neighborhood, the village master came over and he was kind of yelling, but not really yelling. Sylvia, how are you? Fist bump to you. Wow, it's always a pleasure to have you with us, Sylvia. And I'd like to ask you how you're doing, how's your family, and how's your mom doing, and just let us know, please, because Sylvia is in Jakarta. Jakarta area, and that's like Indonesia's like the new India with regard to COVID-19. If you guys don't get mad if I say it that way, but it's really what it is. It's the new hotbed. But he was yelling at some Vietnam guys over there because they're not supposed to have a barbecue, but he didn't tell them you can't have a barbecue. He said, I want you to pick up all the trash. And he kept saying, you know, you don't want to eat some out. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? You know? And he kept saying, you know, Zipia Meal, this is home. This place doesn't have a trash can, and you have to take it with you. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Excellent. So Sylvia is in our late night group on the Line app, and so we keep in touch, and it's nice. You know, we have all these friends from all over the world, and it's nice to keep in touch with them and see what's going on, because we are a, you know, we're a united brotherhood of man around the world, even though we're not as united as we should be. It's at least as far as it relies on me. I try to be. So, yes. But it's not dangerous, really. I mean, if I gotta tell you, if you're gonna get a variant, it's probably not a bad one to get. It's more transmissible, but it's not as, what's the word, virulent? Not as strong. Sometimes I use the wrong term. I sound like Archie Bunker or something. That's my worst fear. What I'd like to do is remind everyone of our new technology forum, livestreaming.technology, and .technology is the domain. Instead of .com, it's .technology. So if you just type live streaming .technology in your web browser, you'll be brought to our site. It's pretty new. Dean, fist bump to you. Howdy. Pretty new. Not too many people there, but oh, Dean's there. And some of your favorite live streamers are there. We want to get them all there. Some people at this point still don't recognize the value of the forum, and can't blame them. But I have a lot of experience with blogging and forums, you know, over many years. But what we have is, and what I'm trying to promote, it's forums, areas of, it's a big forum with many topics. Those are actually called forums. But what I'm promoting is for a live streamer or a content creator to have their own forum. So for example, there's a Taiwan Live TV forum, and there's a Dave in Osaka forum. Every time I do a broadcast, it makes a post there and embeds the broadcast. For example, right now, I've been on this broadcast for 34 minutes. There's a strong likelihood that if you go to livestreaming.technology right now and you find the Taiwan Live TV forum, that there is in fact a post already. It may post immediately after I end. I'm just not really sure, because you know what? I haven't gone there while I'm streaming because I'm too busy streaming. But certainly immediately afterwards. But what that means is you can start a discussion there if you wanted to, instead of on YouTube, because you're not subject to spam, you're not subject to having other people criticize you or ridicule you or censor you, because it's not on YouTube, it's on a platform that I own. And you're not going to get censored unless you're doing something really bad. because I believe in, I believe in just allowing people to do whatever they want to do. And so, and I think you guys would agree with my assessment of who would be really bad. That's like if you threaten somebody, that kind of stuff, But other than that, you're entitled to your opinion, right? But the other thing is that live streaming.technology, since it is a full forum, then you can post URLs and they parse, and you can also, there's a provision for adding photos and things. So sometimes, like, well, example, the last live stream that I talked about something, I forgot what it was. I know. I was talking about, it was actually here. And I was talking about the Yemen temple, and I was talking about, and well, I got the pictures here. I was talking about this garden. Remember this? And I did that live stream a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Well, on livestreaming.technology, on that post about that live stream, I added the Google Maps link, so you can just click on it and look at it, see where it is, and you can read about it and see photos that people have put on there. And I put other photos and things on there. So, when I'm live streaming, especially in the field with Prism, I can do a lot, by showing you multimedia files. But sometimes I have extra information that I either can't do, or I neglect, or like in the case of the last live stream that I did, things came up during the live stream that I wasn't previously prepared for, so I didn't have like photographs, or I didn't have the links prepared in advance. Excuse me, sorry. So I can just say, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll post it on the forum later. So that is really the power of it. And Dean has a forum, and so does Kenrod. I don't want to leave Kenrod. Kenrod has a forum too. So whenever Kenrod, I haven't set up the auto posting yet for Kenrod. It's actually up to Kenrod to do, but yeah. And so eventually I would like to get all the major live streamers that but if you're fans of live streamers that you would like to see on the forum and available, because it gives you another level of access to them where you can send them messages directly, even PMs. You might want to ask them to post there. You might want to remind them to post there, because like I said, some don't quite yet see the value, which is interesting because we're always looking for more views. And some of the live streamers I have offered, to set up separate forums for them so they can interact with their fans, and their content is posted there, and they're like, no thank you. And I'm like, okay, I just dropped the cap, and here it is. So that's always kind of interesting when people don't seem to see the value of things. So don't understand how to get YouTube channel publicly posted on YouTube, or I don't know what you mean. If you can give me some more information, maybe I can. Okay, I gotta turn this light on. Oh, never mind, it's over here. Yeah. Do you mean posted on here? Wow. Suntory whiskey with lemon flavor, or lime. We say lemon in Chinese, it's lime in English. Lime flavored soda water and ice out here, and it's really nice. And what time is it? It's 23:27, so it's 11:30 p.m. It's nice out here. So, all right, well, I'm waiting for you to respond, Dean. If you're talking about posting on live streaming technology, you need to set up an RSS feed. Okay, you need to set up an RSS feed, and you do that with an app on a website called Zapier, Z-A-P-I-E-R. That's the easiest way. As far as I know, well, YouTube does have, it's been a long time, YouTube does have an RSS style feed, but there's something weird with it, and I don't remember what it is. But I just set up, I just go to Zapier and I set up an app that connects YouTube to an RSS feed. And you set up the trigger. What's the trigger? Trigger is a new video on this channel, and you link the channel. And then you create what you want for the body, you know, of the message. You want the title, and then you want the link for the video, and then you want the description. So what happens is when it lands in the message on the forum, then you've got the title, which becomes the clickable title of the post. And then inside the message body you have the URL for the video. So it automatically parses. If you put like a YouTube share link in the forum in a post and you save the post, it actually embeds the video in the post, which is really cool. It's an automatic media embed. It just works. I have installed an extension that does that automatically. So it's not automatic. You have to set that up. However, there's nothing stopping you from doing basically what I just alluded to. If you have a post, or excuse me, if you have a YouTube video that you would like to post on the forum, just create a post with whatever title that you want. Go to the video on YouTube and use the share link. You just click on the share, you know, it opens up a window, and you press copy and just paste it in the post. Put whatever other text you want before it or after or whatever, and then when you save it, then you've got the embedded video. And people, it's really convenient because people don't even have to actually leave the website. They don't have to leave the forum to look at the video. And because it's embedded, of course, you have to have embeds turned on and allowed on the individual live streams, you know, or on the individual YouTube videos. But as long as embedding is enabled, it's embedded in, you know, in the forum post, and any views that you get on the forum count towards, obviously, on the YouTube video count. So there you go. Mike, how are you? Fist bump to you. Nice to have you with us. Thanks for the hand claps, I appreciate it. I'm enjoying myself out here this evening, and just for the fun of it, would you guys do me a favor? Just tell me how many people your app tells you is viewing on YouTube or Twitter Live, whichever one you know you happen to be looking at. Just give me a number. Just tell me a number, whatever it is, because I want to see if it agrees with my indicator here on Prism. I don't think it does. So such a nice night. Mike, how you doing? All right. Gosh, what a nice night. I was going to go camping this weekend. Then we had the typhoon, but if it wasn't so windy and hadn't been raining. Hey, how you doing? 265? No. There can't be 265 people watching me. 3, yeah, okay, that's about what I thought. But see, it depends whether Ken Rod has left. But Mike just came in, and J-Boy, there's you, and of course there's Dean. And anyway, so Frank, how are you? So I would have been camping if it wasn't for the typhoon, which in the Western Hemisphere you call hurricanes. But it missed us pretty good. Dumped a bunch of water, which is cool. We needed it. But, so I'm probably going to go camping next weekend, but I'm kind of not happy because this weekend is a full moon. You guys know I love the moon, and I probably wouldn't even have bothered to put up a tent. I probably just would have just laid back in my reclining camping chair and just went to sleep. And I certainly was looking forward to doing some Dutch oven cooking. Now this place I'm going to go camping, it's in the foothills, not too high, about 900 meters up. Over here in an area called Xingpu. And at the top, on the top of this little mountain, you go up another hill, not too much, just a little, just a little drive. And on the top, there's a very small village, and everybody knows everybody, and they're all related, and they're super nice, really cool, and I got, all generations running around there, from little kids to grandpa. I got 4 generations up there, and they are a lot of Hakka people, or as we say in Chinese, they're Kejialing, and Ke means like guest, and Jia means family, and that accurately describes how, what we say in English, we call them Hakka, but the Kejia people are very friendly, and they treat you like you are a guest of their family. It's amazing, and the people are very hardworking. And this area is known for a lot of Hakka people and Hakka cuisine, which I like. Hakka cuisine. It's distinctly different from other types of Chinese style food, and distinctly different from Taiwan province food. And you have to be careful how you use the term Taiwan province because it's politically charged, but I'm just referring to Taiwan is a separate region, from the rest of Taiwan, or excuse me, the rest of Chinese cuisine. So yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it's always a good idea to not use the original quote because it's kind of unsavory. I get you, but yeah. Okay, that's cool. Bob watching, that's cool. For YouTube, that's not bad. For a non, big channel influencer, it's pretty good. I get all of vast majority of my views I get from, over time, from replays, like some of the stuff I did 3 years ago, I got 500 or 1,000 views. It just, over time, build up. So I'm more than likely going to go to this area next week. And so my friend Tony brought me up there. You guys know who Tony is. He owned the factory over in that area, and he's sold the factory now, so he's got more time. Tony and I are working on some other things, actually, some other projects. This is pretty cool. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so I went up there, and right away they're like, "Hey, have a seat, sit down. What you doing?" and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And they're really friendly. So I got an open invitation. All I got to do is just drive up there, basically toot the horn and go, "Hey, how you doing? I'm going over here. Okay. Would you not be in Luinga?" And it's going to be okay. So I'm going to go over there and go camping. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So it's going to be cool. So, no problem. But anyway, so you guys know that I do manufacturing, and there's a guy that you may not know. You may not know him by name, but you certainly know what he has done. So I think you're right too. I think you're right about that. And there's one thing that's definitely true about me, J-Boy. What you see is what you get, man. There's like no pretense here, But this is a gentleman named Kirk Pasenti, and they call him I know what you mean, man. They call him the father of the modern mountain bike. The mountain bike is based on certain geometry, based on certain, wheel diameter, and he's the guy that fixed all that. And so somebody did invent the mountain bike, and I guess you could say that Kirk really optimized it but made it practical, And so Kirk has been a customer of our company since 2006, and he used to have a company, well, Pasenti Cycle Design, and he sold it. Pasenti Cycle Design is still in business. It's owned by somebody else, and his website used to be Bike Lugs, Lugs, bikelugs.com, where you could buy frame lugs if you were or are a custom frame builder. Because people like, famous builders like Peter White or Richard Sachs, guys like that, they get big money, for a custom bike. Some guys get anywhere $7,000 to $10,000 US dollars, and I know one frame builder in Australia told me that he puts like 180 hours into polishing stainless steel lugs to get that sheen and that shine, and he lacquers over it, to keep it preserved. And these bikes are custom fit. You'll have a pro bike shop professionally measure your body geometry to get those numbers, and it's amazing. And so Kirk sold the company, and we have been supplying his successor, the person who bought, and who bought the company from him, and bought his parts. It's funny because, it's all intellectual property, and we all have. Auntie, I don't know I can't really see what that emoji is. It looks interesting, but I can't really see what it is. Sorry. So somebody designs like a kind of dropout, or it's a motorcycle. Okay, duh. Thank you. Or they'll design a dropout, and they'll design a BB shell, which is the bottom bracket where that holds the crank for the pedals, or they'll a fork crown or something like that. And we do all those parts, Bike Lugs. We do all that stuff. We do a lot of fork crowns. Fork crown is the top part that has the two tubes that go down and hold the wheels. They're called blades, and there's a steer tube that goes in the middle. But anyway, the fork crown will have sockets, so the steering, so the blades, the tubes that go down to the wheels, fit into. So we make a lot of those, and I got like a couple hundred sitting in my house right now that are getting ready to go out this week. And so Kirk sent me a message a couple of weeks ago, and he's designing again with another partner. And so this is really cool, because now Tony is the guy who started this whole thing back when Tony was Tony's 55. He's 10 years younger than me, and when he started his career straight out of university, he's working with a company called Everest. And back in those days, bicycle manufacturers, these frame builders, would handcraft. They would basically blacksmith lugs out of other pieces of tubing. They would take slightly oversized tube, because the tubing has to fit, like the top tube, and the down tube and the seat tube and all that form the bicycle frame shape, right? I'm talking about that diamond shape, because we call that diamond frame. And they're tubes that stick into lugs that connect them together, right? And so I don't have any illustrations on my phone, and it's all intellectual property anyway, so I wouldn't want to. But what I'm getting at is they would take oversized pieces of tubing and slice them and carve what we call like a fish mouth, if you can imagine that shape, to be able to make a socket. Pretty difficult geometry, you know, and often it was hard for the frame builder. These guys aren't mathematicians, you know, they're welders and they're mechanics, and so sometimes it takes a lot of effort to actually be able to mathematically measure and document things like these crazy angles and things. But these guys did a remarkable job. But then Tony said, these should be castings. And using carbon steel, high carbon steel, and this stuff is hard as you just wouldn't believe, just, you know, we have like frame lugs that are 0.9 millimeters wall thickness. I like them too. This guy right here behind me with this light on, this is one of the last made in Taiwan giant bikes. Yep. It's 17 years old. I've changed the brakes on the rear, and I don't think I've changed the brakes on the front. And the front tire is original. I changed the back tire 2 times, so the front tire is original. It's amazing. This thing's just like, when I bought this bike, I drove it home, I rode it home, and a couple days later it was creaking. I brought it back. Guy says bottom bracket has a problem. Replace the bottom bracket, under warranty, and this thing has been like, it's amazing. It's a tank. It says in the front, made in Taiwan, and you should see the hand welds. Well, okay, I'll just show you. Look at this. I'll turn. I will turn this. Let's see, is it this one? Turn this light on. Giants are all made in China. See that? It says made in Taiwan right there. See that? Made in Taiwan, right? Now, look at the welds. Look at this, man. This is 6061, obviously, 6061 aluminum. We'll get back to the other thing. And look at the welds down here where the top tube meets the seat tube. See, normally these would be welds. But what I was talking about with bike lugs is there would be a lug that would be like from here to here and then to here. And you would plug things into it. It would look kind of like a T-junction, okay? And then, you know, these are the seat stays, and the seat stays would, on the seat lug, the seat stays would plug in there. And of course down here would be the BB shell, and that's called the chain stay, but you know, down there. Ah, there's a bug on my phone. Now, the thing about this bike is it's got gas shocks in the front. I've never had to maintain them. I will very occasionally clean them, but they don't, you know, move that much. You can see the front tire. Look at this, man. This front tire is completely original. It's worn down in the center, but it's not worn down on the sides because, you know, I don't ride it on the edge. Yeah, 6061, and 6061 is the billet equivalent of A456, which is an aluminum that we use for castings. And the rear tire is new. You can see. See, rear tire is new. I got it from Decathlon. It still has the mold marks on it. See, the little tips on there. So I'll tell you something else interesting about this bike. For example, look how high I have this seat. I mean, the thing's, nobody will steal this bike because they can't sit on it. The reason is it's a 19-inch frame. This is a 19-inch frame. It's too small for me. When I bought it, it was the largest one I could get. So the first thing that I did was I put an extender on it for the handlebars, and it wasn't high enough. So I put another extender on it that actually has an adjustable angle here on it. So I got it just the way that I wanted to. And the really funny thing is it's hard to see. It's hard to see this, but the name, the name on this thing is, let's see. Let's see what it says. Yeah, here you go. You can see it. the name on this says, there we go, it says MJ. Name on this is MJ. The helmet is at home. I don't ride this bike with a helmet because I just ride it up and down the street in the neighborhood. The helmet that I have is I use on the trike because I have a recumbent trike. So yeah, well, I got one. I got a GoPro, but it's not very, you know. I'll tell you what I do have though. I didn't show you. Hang on, let me do this. Hold on. Oops, there we go. Come on. There you go, see? So I've got the mount already, and the mount will hold. It's a standard tripod thread. The mount will hold the gimbal. So I could screw the gimbal on that and go for a ride. The only thing you'd have to deal with if I didn't do it ahead of time is me screwing the the thing on and having the camera flip around like 10 times or whatever while I stick the thing on there and get it cinched up. But yeah. So Kirk is working on some new parts. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is though on Android it doesn't work. And it doesn't work with, like, if I use Bluetooth, to try to communicate with Prism, it doesn't work. The only thing I could do, it would be in mono, because right now it because there's a noise canceling mic at the top and there's the regular mic on the bottom, and so Prism utilizes those two mics, and most of the new mobile apps do too. So yeah, or I could just ride and just show around. I could do that, and I got no problem with that. And I got a decent light on, and I could put this. I could do them both. So if you guys want to, it's up to you. I don't mind either way. And it looks like I got enough battery power for the time being. Yeah, I'm doing good. So yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I've never really had a wreck, Yeah, safety first. Yeah, then I wouldn't be like riding and looking down the phone, because that's kind of idiotic. I see guys on scooters and electric bikes and are driving with one hand, looking at their phone. And ultimately, with the bicycles and those things in Asia, the front brake is the left hand, but the throttle's the right hand. And so everybody knows that the vast majority of braking occurs in the front wheel. And many bikes don't have back brakes because they don't really add that much to it, And if you are holding a phone with your left hand and you got your right hand on the throttle and you need to brake quick, good luck with that, because you're not gonna. The other thing that happens is a lot of these, I'm gonna say it, a lot of these girls, they don't know anything about mechanics. It's not that they're not capable of it. I don't want to get hate mail. They just don't know anything about it. They're not interested in it. So I'll be over here at Jar Jar or something, and there'll be two girls from Vietnam on one of these electric bikes, and they pull up to the store and the brakes are squealing like bloody murder. Just you heard that sound. And so I asked this girl, I said, "It's so loud." And she's like, "Yeah, I know. This conversation is happening in Chinese." "Yeah, I know." I said, "Well, do you know what the sound means?" "No." "It means it's time for preventive maintenance, and in Chinese that means we say 保养. And so the 声音, the sound, 那个声音, right? It's just 保养的时间, right? So the sound, it's time for yeah, it's time for, you know, the maintenance, and they just, you know, over their head. You have to maintain them. You know, 是吗？有保养吗? Yeah. So they just think they can drive it forever, and then one day it doesn't stop anymore, and then they have to sell it because it doesn't work. So anyway, my good pal Kirk from way back when, and my really, really good customer since 2006, has got some new products, and I'm really excited about it because it's some parts that I've never actually done before, and they're really cool. So yeah, but now, Mike, now you're talking about something really dangerous. I mean, the only thing dangerous, more dangerous than a mini bike, is a modern four-wheel ATV. I mean, I won't even have one of those things. That's a, you know, that's a broken neck just waiting to happen. But now I have a couple other YouTube channels. I have a personal channel that I used to put stuff on. Like I had one of the early, they used to call it CD quality, okay, compact disc quality. I had one of the early GoPro cameras, you know, like from 2007. And I've ridden all over from Hsinchu all the way down to the coast up to like Yong'an and down to Hsinchu City. All that whole thing there is probably about 25 or 30 kilometers. And I would do a round trip of about 40 or 50 kilometers just going up and back, right? And it's really great exercise. I love it. Now my trike has some problems, and I've been trying to contact the factory, and I can't get them to answer me, but I need some new parts. But hey, Matthew, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Well, yeah, and they you know, they don't know that it needs maintenance, and it's just over their head. But they think that they can just, you know, ride these things forever and nothing happens to them. It's not that, like that at all. Preventive maintenance, especially, even in factories, because I used to deal with this as a manufacturing engineer, if there's no demonstrable proof that it does anything, people won't do it. And they don't get demonstrable proof until stuff breaks. You know, and I'm not talking about breaking as in stopping. I mean breaks as in quadiala, as in it's, you know, it's broken. So, but with the trike, and that camera, you know, the one from like 2007, my bike helmet still has the shoe on it to plug the GoPro, you know, the little, you know, I'm talking about the clip. And on my personal YouTube channel, I've got a number of videos, maybe a dozen, of me riding from all over back in those days, and it's all different now. So it's kind of like a time capsule. But anyway, I want to ride again, because we're coming down to the bottom of the summer, and it's going to start getting cool. And really, Taiwan, you can ride almost year round. But right now it's super hot, very tough. And I want to start putting in, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers a week, right? So, where do I think live streaming is going, artistically? I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what motivates most live streamers. I think they think they're just going to get famous or something. I mean, everybody wants to get monetized. That was a big thing with Periscope. I just spent $500 and I went over my limit. I got to find a way to monetize this. Yeah, but you know, you're showing your dog taking a walk, peeing on a tree. I mean, anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know. But my view is, yeah, it is. My view is completely different, because, you know, I come from, I mean, I was live streaming from the studio back in the 90s, so. No, the mountains are cooler, Auntie. The mountains are way, way cooler. And there's a lot of mountains. Like if I go south of here in Meow Lee, man, I can hit the foothills and then go up, and I really get a workout. But there's a guy that I knew used to own a cabin down there, and the ride, time-wise, was only about 4 hours, which is not bad, and especially on a recumbent trike, because it's like a lounge chair. You're sitting back and you got a headrest and your feet are out in front of you. But the elevation difference was like 1,000 meters, so something you got to think about. Because whatever you've got, you got to carry it up. First of all, you've got your own weight. And a trike is probably about 2 times or a little more the weight of one of those really wimpy, I call these weight weenie guys that don't even have a kickstand. They don't want a kickstand because of the weight. They'll carry a water bottle, that kind of stuff. So, hey, that's cool. Yeah, it's really good for the health, and what's good about it is the non-steady state. Let me see how I can say this. On treadmills and exercise bikes, when they say cardio, where they put you like in this zone for 45 minutes or an hour, that's actually very dangerous. Dr. Al Sears proved that. The guy who wrote the book, what was it? The Joy of Running. Yeah, he died running and jogging. Marathons are not good, but when you have bursts of energy, like you're going up a hill and you have to pedal like crazy for 5 minutes straight, and your heart rate is 170, 190, and then you go downhill and then you recover. Those things are really good for the cardiac system. So really. Oh, I want to see that, Dean. I really want to see that. That's cool. So tell you, Rod, are you going to be like in a Jeep? You're going to be, riding the lions back and stuff? What are you going to be doing down there? So, yeah, and Taipei especially, and Taoyuan and some of the places there. Down here, a lot of the bike paths go through the city, and they're basically wrecked by people parking their cars. But the one good thing about riding in Taiwan that I've noticed is that the drivers are very courteous to bike riders here. You don't have any anti-spandex kind of people here. There's so many scooters that drivers are automatically on the lookout, for other vehicles, and the trike has such a crazy, like, what the heck is this kind of attitude. People look at it and say, wow, what is that thing that it's hard to miss? And everybody says it's really low to the ground. Yeah, it's low to the ground when you're right next to somebody, but 5 meters away you can clearly see it. And I do have a flag, and I have an air horn too. So the air horn is like, I don't know, it's 100 dB, 110 dB or something. It's really loud. I pump the air horn up to 80 psi. It's like, meow, just really loud, which is good because sometimes I have dogs that want to chase me. I wait till they get close to me and I give them a blast in the horn and they run away. So that's good. But in the last 6 or 7 years, Taiwan's really cleaned up the stray dog situation. Because like around here, I mean, you guys, I've been on now for an hour and 15 minutes, and the only dog I saw, I thought I heard him, but it wasn't. The only dog I saw was a woman walking her dog on a leash. And this used to be like, so. Well, yeah, but I don't want to. See, the trike I have is made by a company called TW Bents, for recumbent, TW-BENTS, TW Bents. And I had, the trike that I have is called the Artifice. It was the first one. And my friend used to own the company, Kevin Gao. And it was the very first one. I called him up, hey man, you know me, and you know how big I am. I need a big trike. And he said, I got this new trike called the Artifice. So I went down, I loved it. I paid, I don't know, 52, 55,000 NT. I forget. It's like 100. It was like $1,600 or something US, like that. It's a really good deal, right? For a full size, full featured, it's even foldable. Although I disabled the foldable part of it, I bolted it together because it used to be a pain in the neck. It would kind of come apart when I didn't want it to. And I don't need the foldable because I got a van. But anyway, you know, it's got the Avid 7 disc brakes on it and stuff. And one of the first mods that I did to it was I had to put a really tiny chain ring on the front. So I got, you know, 3 chain rings, you know, for different ranges, right? So it's 27 speeds. The rear cassette's got 7 speeds, right? And so I would do a lot of climbing, mountain climbing here, right? Yeah, I know, passing, yeah, midnight. Well, it's over, yeah, it's 3 a.m. I mean, that's, excuse me, 3 minutes after 12 a.m. Yeah, you're right. So, but I don't have a job, so hey, what, you know, what's stopping me, right? So I would, you know, put this thing in the granny gear, and I could climb a tree, but of course I would be, you know, pedaling like crazy and not really making a whole lot of progress. I have 2 20-inch wheels on the front and a 27 on the rear. And the cool thing is my rear 27-inch is it's a cast alloy. It's a 5-spoke wheel. It's really cool. I got pictures of it. I just don't have them. I don't have them handy. And I could put Prism in the background. I could go to Google Photos and I could search, but it would just be, no. I'll show them to you next time. But yeah, so I have the rim is by a company called Tony's Rims, and it's a Taiwan company, so it's not efficient though. Yeah, belt drives are not efficient. It's been proven. The chains are the most efficient. And when you talk about a trike, you know, whatever, like I was saying before, however much it weighs, that's how much stuff you got to haul up the mountain. And I didn't really finish that statement because there's actually one dog walking through here now, but he seems friendly. He's got a collar on. I used to ride with the diamond frame guys, you know, and they were always waiting for me to go uphill because I was slow. But going downhill, the thing is like a land luge. I mean, first of all, you're really low to the ground, so you're super aero. I can beat anybody downhill. I mean, I'd use my GPS, right? Well, the chains don't really have much. I mean, there isn't really much maintenance on it. You just have to make sure that the derailleur's working okay. But I mean, you still got to shift gears somehow. How do you do that with a belt? I mean, I don't know. I never had any problems with mine. It's been running flawless the whole time. The only thing I've ever had to do is just adjust the brakes a little bit. But when I'm going downhill, the other thing too about a trike is if you take a turn, it's like a sports car, it will body roll. So if you're going to turn left, you have to lean left. If you're turning right, you have to lean right, so you can keep that wheel on the ground. But I used to point out to these guys, they would be riding there, you know, the trike's so slow and stuff. So I want you to understand something. You guys stand up on the pedals, and you're using your body weight. You're just basically stair climbing. But when I'm on a recumbent, I'm pushing this way, which is, for all intents and purposes, I mean, I'm not a physicist, guys. I'm not trying to be a physicist, but for all intents and purposes, you know, you're 90 degrees, you're pushing your pedals 90 degrees from the plane of gravity. And I said, basically what I'm doing is leg presses. I got my back up against the seat, and I'm powering myself and basically 2 bicycles, you know, worth of weight up the hill. Plus I'm 15 years older than you guys. And they were like, yeah, okay. So yeah, there are. In fact, you can use a regular bike carrier if you just configure it correctly, and I have done that. But these days there are a number of trikes that fold up. So as long as you got a big trunk. I mean, when I took the trike home, I had a really, really small car, and I just put the seat down, because it would pass through from the trunk. I put the rear seats down, and we folded the trike up, took the wheels off it, and dumped it in the car. It was just fine. But now I got the van, so I take the rear seat row out of the van, and then the middle seat row, I just put one of them down, on one side, and it just makes a little space. I back it in, and the rear tire goes in that space, and then the front, I just grab the pedals, and I move the chain ring over to the side, and it closes fine. So yeah, and there's enough room still for my wife and Phoenix if they want. So I could take it, and I've taken it. Like we took it to Kaohsiung. I also with my car, because it's a van, and I've got roof rack, tie downs and stuff. And if I'm on the highway and I know I don't have clearance problems, I'm not going under an underpass or anything, I did put that thing on the roof of the car, and I bungeed it like to death, like 6 big monster bungee cords pulled tight. And I stopped and checked it a couple times. It didn't move, and I drove it all the way to Kaohsiung with no problems, which is like 3.5 hours. It was fine. The other thing too about the Artifice that I have, it does have a fold down seat, which is cool because if you're gonna stop somewhere and go like into 7-Eleven or something, and stop and eat, and you don't want people messing with it, you just unlock the seat and it pushes forward, and then people say it's like it's disabled. Yeah, but it's like, it's a road bike, and you can clean it easy enough. The biggest problem I'm having right now is because it's so old, some of the stuff's deteriorating. I had one of the castings break in the mounting bracket that holds the headrest on. And the other thing too is I have chain tubes, because you got these big, you've got up in the front, you've got the big chain ring, and the chain goes all the way down under the seat to the back derailleur. That's longer than I am, right? That's like, I don't know, it's at least 2 meters and some change. And so I have to have tubes, otherwise the chain will like bang against my calf, right? And so the tubes are all deteriorated, and I need to get those. And I have emailed the company, and I haven't gotten anything back from them yet. I don't know. What I need to do is I did meet the new owner, because Kevin sold the company to a guy named Nelson Lin, and I met him. He's a real nice guy. The last time I saw Kirk at the Taipei bike show is when I met Nelson. I made a point to go over and introduce myself and tell him that I got the very first Artifice that Kevin ever made. He's like, wow, that's cool. So if I can just get down there and talk to him in Chinese, everything will be okay. But I'm emailing them in English, and I think they're freaking out. So if I can just get down there and walk in the door and just say, hey, well, I used to, and then tell them the story, then I think it's okay. So, all right, tell you what, look, it's 1:24. It's not much of a big deal for me to pack up and stick the gimbal on the bike, and I've actually been wanting to do that. So the longest lived, most miles bike chain ever, well, I'm going to tell you, Mike, it's probably 100 years, because bicycles have been around for a long time, and bicycle geometry there are books written in the late 1800s that everything that you need to know about bicycle geometry hasn't changed. Those engineers back then were just as good as they are now. They just, didn't have huge databases and computers, but the slide rule, they could do everything. So, oh yeah, lobster. Yeah, guys are from New England. Yep. Oh, okay, cool. Man, that sounds great. Yeah, Paul's another friend of mine, and he is an Indian motorcycle. So cool. Yeah, say hi to Paul, man. I haven't seen him since the 90s. I mean, in person. But yeah, it's cool. So I'll tell you what, you guys tell me what you want to do. I got my stuff here that I can just pack up and put in the bike, and I can, if you don't mind, you know, me like taking a second to, like, I'll be twisting the gimbal and turning it around, but if you want, I will put the gimbal on the bike and ride around the neighborhood for a few minutes. So no, thank you, appreciate it. So it's up to you guys. Let me know what you want, because I think it's probably about time to wrap up. But I don't, you know, I had plenty of sleep today. Took a long nap. I do work in the studio at night, and Sunday night's one of the nights that I do work in. So usually in the afternoon on Sunday I'll take a nap, and then I'll be up kind of late on Sunday. So I'm not exactly ready to go to sleep, but I have been on the air for well, an hour and 27 minutes. So 5 more minutes of questions. Okay. Well, that's cool. Why don't we do this? I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff in my saddlebags, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to anticipate mounting the gimbal on the bike, and it should work. I mean, it should be tight. Yes, this is tight enough. And so I'll put this in, and then when I get back home, because this is the case for the gimbal, and so if I'm going to leave the gimbal out, I'll just put the case in it. So go ahead and type your questions. I'm going to take the glass, but if I leave everything else, so there's some beer cans and stuff here. If I leave everything else, the recycling aunties will take all of this, because they make money off of it. So, okay, go ahead. And I have, you know, I have this light on the bike, and I got this light here too. So I think we have plenty of light to be doing things. So I may have to move that though. We'll just see. I don't know. We'll just see. Okay, yeah, so 5 more minutes of questions. All right, you're on the air with MJ Klein. Go ahead. It's been a long time. So, do I look thinner to you guys? Because I did lose some weight, and it's been pretty good. It's been staying off. Goes up and down a little bit, but I did absolutely lose some weight. Well, let me check one thing here. I'm going to do this. Hold on. I'm going to turn the light on, because I'm going to get the gimbal has a USB-A port on it, and that allows me to charge the phone using the USB-C on the phone. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, sorry about that. Let me open this up, and I'm going to take this cable out. Yeah, I've got kind of a smallish USB. How do I say focused in my Quest? So not sure. I'm not sure what you mean, Frank. I have a gimbal, which is a stabilization device. It's motorized stabilization, and the gimbal has built. I mean, it's got a big monster battery, and part of the. I'm trying to get the cover off. It has a USB-C, a USB-A port on it. That if I plug the cable in, then I can plug it into the phone, and you'll hear it. You'll hear the noise when it starts to. There you go. Okay, that means it's charging. How do I stay focused? Well, Mike, you're one of my biggest fans, man. I appreciate it. When I come on live streaming, um, I don't actually know whether I'm helping people or not. I just like having, conversations with people. And the whole point of Taiwan Live TV was to talk about Taiwan and to introduce Taiwan through live streaming. And somewhere along the line, the focus has shifted a little bit mostly because I have background is on radio and doing talk and stuff, and I like talking with people about different things, But and of course, I do like to help people whenever I can. I just don't know how. I just don't know how, like, actually helpful, Late Night with MJ Klein is, but occasionally I do take questions, from viewers, but mostly I'm going to admit it, mostly for the sake of humor, because sometimes I like to do humor stuff, and people will ask me questions like the most famous one is, Dear MJ, why is it, you guys have probably heard this before, the most famous one, Dear MJ, why is it everything that I look for is in the last place that I look? Doesn't matter what it is. I lose my glasses. I lose my key. I lose whatever it is, and it's always in the last place that I look for it. Well, that is a question that I absolutely know the answer to. Oh, Frank, now I understand what you mean. You're making a joke. It's a cagey guy. Because I said, do I look thinner? He says, is it the camera angle and lens? Yes. I'm busted. Yes, it's the camera angle and lens. I must be getting slow. So it took me a couple minutes, so. Really? Okay, well, Jerry Boy, I gotta tell you, you're one of the first viewers that I had, and it's actually true. You and I go back about 6 years. I appreciate that, so. Well, thank you. You guys are too kind. Thank you. So sometimes my ability to talk gets me in trouble. Who can control the tongue? And once, I will admit it, during a live stream, somebody did something kind of bad, and I did say a very bad swear word. So I deleted the whole broadcast, and I shouldn't have done it, and I asked for forgiveness, but yeah, only human, but try to rein that in, and everybody is susceptible. You always got to watch what you're saying. The other thing too is, you guys know me, and I stay out of politics, but sometimes you guys ask me politically charged questions, and I have to walk this tightrope, because you know me, and you know that I'm politically neutral. But there are certain facts about the world, and one thing that you have to understand, and I deal with this, is that just because you state something as a fact does not mean that you endorse it. You know what I'm saying? You ever had somebody do that to you? Like, they'll say, why is this sky blue? I wish it were green. I like green better. And you say, well, the reason the sky is blue is because the size of the oxygen O2 molecule is the most, it makes the wavelength of blue light the most easily dispersed color in the atmosphere. And then somebody will invariably say, oh, so you prefer blue? Well, no, I didn't say that. I just told you the answer. So I find myself saying this a lot. I'm sorry you don't like the answer, but that's what it is. It's the truth. It's like an old saying, don't shoot the messenger. But I try to keep things, of course, you know me, I keep things clean. I got, like a family show. But J-Boy, yeah, you and I go way back, even way before, you know, there was a YouTube live stream. Remember, YouTube got into the live streaming late in the game, and in my opinion, that kind of blew it by going with gamers and stuff, and they kept upping. They went, you know, to 100, and they went to 1,000 subscribers before you could live stream. And you know, we found ways around that because I don't have 1,000 followers, and we're live streaming on YouTube. But it's like, yeah. So anyway, about the question, right? I mean, the most famous question somebody asked me was, you know, why is it that everything that I look for is in the last place that I look? And now you guys know the answer to that question, right? Because this happens to everybody. Where are my keys? Okay, I'm gonna look. I'm going in the closet. Look in my pants pocket. They're not there. All right, well, let me go in the drawer. Oh, they're not there. All right, when I came home, I went right to the bathroom. Maybe I set them down in the bathroom. Ah, they're not there. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're in the last place that you looked. So, cool. They do, yeah. Yeah, they are tannigrade. Yeah, earth colors. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. On that level, they're calling that biblical. But the other hand too, they've had some infrastructure problems, and now see, this is another loaded question. Let's just say that the government that's in charge does not do things according to the sanctity of life. Let's just put it that way. They do it according to economics and power brokerage. So a lot of times they'll cut corners, or they'll do things that aren't necessarily designed to protect the people as much as to protect maybe something of a national concern. Who knows? But so you guys know why. This is a question I'm putting out. You know why everything you look for is in the last place you look. You know why that is, right? If you don't know, this is like the biggest question that has ever faced mankind. Yeah, I wish. But no, the flood was. And the other thing too is, see, Taiwan is a country that has a lot of disasters. Like, we don't make disaster movies in Taiwan, like, you know, like 2012 and stuff, because we have, like, there was a famous typhoon called Morakot, and when it hit, 2 villages disappeared. They just slid down the hill into oblivion, and 2,000 people disappeared. But the people here are very aware of disasters, and the disaster education is very high here. But what happened in China, the people didn't know what to do. So it started raining really hard, and they were in their car, so they pulled into the tunnel to get out of the rain. And the tunnel is lower in elevation than the surrounding terrain, and it filled up with water. And they didn't think about that. But like where I used to live in Boston, you know, we got 2 tunnels that go under Boston Harbor, you know, and every time I'm in that tunnel, I see water dripping, and I'm thinking, yeah, what would I do? And so I think about the fact that it's underwater, but a lot of people don't really, they don't cognitively, you know, make these realizations. And so the second thing, and we've talked about this too, decisions that people make in fear are often wrong. The flight or fight reflex is built into us. It's built into our genetic code. It protects us. But there's a big difference between like blocking something, you know, that's about to hit you, and deciding that I'm going to go into that building during an earthquake and it falls down on you. So it's about training, and you know, professionals like first responders, firefighters, and police officers, they get all this training so they don't make decisions out of fear. They just instinctively know what to do. And those poor people that were in China did not know what to do. They'd never seen a flood like that. But as you may recall, several years ago, there's a big flood like that in Thailand. Remember, in the Bangkok area, it was underwater for months and months. And nobody anticipated that it would flood the crocodile farms, and hundreds of crocodiles got out. And I will never forget the press release by the Thai government was that these crocodiles are different. They're used to humans, so they won't hurt you. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, all right. The answer to the question is, why is everything you look for in the last place that you look for it? Okay, listen up. The answer is, when you find what you're looking for, you stop looking for it. So by nature, it must be in the last place that you looked. So if you want to solve that problem, what I suggest that you do is, after you find whatever it is that you're looking for, just continue looking for it. Go to the next place that seems logical. You know, just take whatever it is that you have lost and just put it in your pocket, you know, or put it back where it belongs. And continue to look for it, and that way you won't feel frustrated because it was in the last place that you looked. That's the answer. All right, I'm going to put this in the bike. In. All right. Now, I have a tripod on this. Let me take the tripod off. Oops, sorry, I want to do that. Hang on. I guess I could take this whole thing off. Yeah, I don't think I need that light. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me do this. All right, I am going to see if I can put this on. Hang on. Here's the, I gotta find the stud that goes on here. Hang on. All right, give me a second, guys. Here we go. Now I gotta spin this around to get this to go on. I wasn't planning on doing this, and I told you you're gonna have to just deal with me if I can get this to go on. It doesn't seem to want to go on yet. No, it's not going on yet. Hold on. Yeah, this is gonna be bad. Let me do this. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put like a picture on here so you guys don't get dizzy going around in circles. How about that? Because I gotta look down here and see where we're at. And then, okay. Okay, there we go. Is it going on? Nope, it's not going on. This is not screwing in here the way this is supposed to go. And it's because the thing has a bit of an angle. Oh, I think it's going on now. Let me see. Yeah, it's going on now. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so, okay. I need to go back like this. I need to whoa, nope, it's falling over, so I need to tighten this up hard. Okay, so is that gonna hold? Hold on. Yeah, I think it's gonna hold. It might be a little bit shaky, a little bit strange, but all right. Gosh, yeah, this thing is heavy, and all right, hold on. last thing I want to do is for it to break. So yeah, exactly. I remember that. I remember that place. Having a go bag is a really, really good idea. Yeah, come on. All right, I'm almost ready, guys. I know I got this you know, picture up here, but it's saving you, you know, the puke cam. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna unclip the holder for my cup, stick it on the bike. I'm gonna put my mask on, and then we're gonna go up here like this. Okay, and okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let me get this off. And this is, all right. Now, for one thing, stick this back on here like this. See, the thing has a thumb screw on the bottom, and it's not quite tight, so. Hey, Coco. Wow, good to see you. So, are we? This way. Good to see you. Yeah. The thing is, hold on, is it's about the thumb screw. This thing is, all right, I'm just gonna try to power this through to the, see if it makes it without breaking. Oh, it did it without breaking. Okay, that's good. Okay. Coco, I've got the, I've got the gimbal on the bike here. And it's not exactly the safest thing. I wasn't planning on doing this. I was just talking about doing this, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and throw myself over here. And I'm just going to turn this a little more like this. Turn these screws here to make sure that it doesn't, okay. It's a lot more stable than I had expected. I used to have a, well, on the trike, I have some accessory arms. And I actually just have a light. Excuse me. I just have a screw bolted through it. So the go bag is a great idea. Yes, it is. I'm glad you've been watching, Coco. Thank you. All right, so let's do this. I'm just going to ride around this a little bit and see how bad it is. Oh. Okay, so yeah, whoa, and that's pretty fast. Okay, that's the end of that. Well, at least, okay, at least my phone didn't break. The Xiaomi. But yeah, this is I better turn this off. That didn't work. That's not going to work. The actual, let me see. The bracket broke. Yeah, it broke right off, guys. That didn't work. Now I got to figure out how to get this out of here. Yeah, I got to go home and get my pliers because I got to take the look on the back. Let me show you this. This is fun. The back of my gimbal. Whoops. Sorry. Hold on. I got to do the back. Come on. The back of my gimbal has the stud in it. It broke right off. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah. That's not going to work, but at least, you know, it didn't. I don't. It looks like it's okay. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because I got to fix this. guys take care. Thanks so much for joining in. Sorry about the abrupt end, but I'm just glad I wasn't, you know, hauling down the road there really fast. It just broke at a second though. Yeah, but the phone is the camera. So I would have to mount the camera on the helmet, you see. That's the, you know, yeah, stuff does happen. That's the issue here. So, and I cannot connect the GoPro to the Prism. So that's, you know, that's the other thing. So, all right, guys, take care. I'm going to go ahead and sign off before anything else bad happens. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you next time, okay? And we'll say Zaijian and Wanan from Taiwan. No, it's not broken. The gimbal fell and everything, but it's fine. It's still running. So you guys take care. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, man. It could have been worse.